Yes.
Namaskar to all of you. Best regards to the listeners, friends today. At first, I would like to admit the fact that I am not in a very good frame of mind today because we live in a collective where one of us is diagnosed as a very serious carcinoma and the patient just lives one room by my room. So, truly speaking, my heart is broken today, but since I was committed, so I have to speak. So you can ask me question after I finish. But if you find me inconsistent, please forgive me because today is not a good day for me. You can make out from my face, so that's why I had to confess. Well, so when you are talking about introduction of Theatre of the Oppressed, yes, of course I will speak. But to me, Theatre of the Oppressed is not the only school that exists to address the problem of the people in the society. And Theatre of the Oppressed is not the only school that tries to humanize the human society. There are many other schools, and we have to negotiate with them. We have to interact with them. We have to interrogate. We have to question. So that's how let us have a solidarity of theatre makers, because today society needs theatre, and it is true that theatre was seen as a basic need by our ancestors. Many of you are very aware of Bharat Muni's Natsastra that was written almost 2,500 years before. I am getting a screen which says admit. So should I click the admit?
I'm doing that, no problem.
You're doing that.
I'm doing that. I will take
I'm
care
not
of
very
it.
smart in this Zoom and social media, so that's why.
No, I will do that. No worries.
But this is actually when I went to the village, I realized that it used to exist in our tradition long ago, and they considered theater as a basic need. But our development perspective today does not consider theater as a basic need. They think some populist measures to provide some doles, to provide some housing, economic questions to be considered as a development model. So theater is not a basic need. The perspective of the modern development paradigm does not consider theater as a basic need. You see, I saw a movie in my childhood of Satyajit Ray called Gupigain and Bagabai. And Gupigain was actually a singer, but he couldn't sing well. And Bagabain was a drummer, but he couldn't drum well. So they were thrown out of the arena of, and that practice is still continuing. Poor people does not need the arena of art. The marginalized people does not need the arena of art. They need Awas Jojana, they need Krisak Bandhu, this kind of things will be enough for them. Art is not their need. That's how we see. And that's why theater is very important. We must shout out loud that consider theater as a basic need. So in Gopika and Bhagavan, they were thrown out of their villages by the Zamindar, and both of them met together in a forest. And at the night, the king of ghosts appeared. Many of you must have seen this movie Gopika and Bhagavan of Satyajit Ray. It was written by his grandfather Upendra Kishore Ray. So he made it a film. So Gupi and Banga, when they met the ghosts of King of Ghosts, they asked some moves like, so that we can have good food all the time, whenever we want, granted. Then they said we can wear whatever dresses we want, granted. Then they said we can bless us so that we can move wherever we want to move. The movement should be allowed. So that was granted, the need for democracy. And then the last prayer was, so that we can cultivate the art. So Gupi and Baga, these two marginalized people from the village, two persons from the village, when they perceived their life, it not only considered, did not include the bread butter center, but art. So Upendra Kishore Ray almost before 150 years wrote it. A couple of years ago, I had been to Greece in Epidaurus Theatre Festival, And I frequently move to Europe every year, and Greece is one of my favorite places. Their theater of the opera has truly matured as a political tool. So in Epiteras, I went to direct Antigone with the Greek professional actors and went to see first the place where the performance will take place. And we found a theater that was excavated by German archaeologists almost during the time of Sophocles. So you can imagine Sophocles' time. So it's almost 4,000 years. So it was there. The German archaeologists, they excavated the theater which can accommodate 10,000 people. And the Greek scholars, my friends, they said those days in the city-states like Epidurus, they had almost adult population of 10,000. So everybody was expected to see theater. And now the other thing is they would perform the play, and after a week or so, the spectators, actors, they would meet. Everybody will be invited. People can come and express about their views on theater, on the play they had seen. And similarly, in our traditional theater, when I went to the village, they start worshipping the audience as God, and they understand the value of the spectator and always include the dramaturgy that I have got from my teacher. My teacher is Augusto Boal, and when we met, I was his son, like his son. But before he passed away, last 3-4 years, he was my son. We had such a sweet relationship, and his son was actually trained by me. He saw his father through my eyes. He speaks Bengali and calls me Borda. So we are very close. So Boal's dramaturgy, I told this also, we used to discuss this. The dramaturgy that Boal has presented to the world, the concept existed. I would tell you the alienation effect of Brecht, that also existed in our theater tradition. Once I was invited by the museum, Brecht Museum, where he used to stay after the revolution, after 1945. And I told that Brecht was born in India before he was born in Germany, because the concept existed, It's only, instead of abandoning our tradition, we must examine what was good there. Instead of throwing the baby with the bathwater, we should have examined it. As a leftist politician, I actually very much repent that our elders in the party did not feel like understanding the tradition. I will come to this point. So basically, theater should be considered as a basic need. I wanted to establish this. So we must question our development paradigm that they should include this. This is one point. And the other thing is, I mentioned that I was a party worker, very regimented communist party I belonged to. And inside party, it is not my criticism against party politics. Many of you may have connection with the party, and I also work with the party trade unions. Party is not our enemy at the moment. But when I was in the party, I realized that we were only asked to listen. We were only asked to watch. Is there any problem, Subhas? Hello?
Oh, no, it's going good.
So we were only asked to carry out the order which used to come from the top. So whatever comes from the central committee should be treated as a Bible, like a religious institute. You cannot question. You have no access to the debate or discussion. You cannot question. The culture of questioning is theoretical. But in practice, there is no culture of questioning. You accept, what comes from the top. So this was practically the experience of culture of monologue. Paulo Freire would say, it was my experience of culture of monologue inside the party. And the photographs of the stalwarts of our mentors used to be seen as God. If you belong to a Stalinist party, Stalin is above criticism, all criticism. So it was a kind of religiosity I experienced in the party. So I thought I would leave the party. So I left the party and decided to practice non-party politics. Those days it was an interesting concept. So I used to work in a slum, and that slum people used to come from particular villages. So I went there. The idea was that we would promote independent people's organization. I mean, independent agricultural workers organization, where party will have no interference. They will be independent. They will not be controlled by the party. So that was basically my aim. So as a political activist, I went into the village. And the village life was not easy. Those days there was no electricity, no toilet, no roads, no tea, even tea. So you thatched roof, mud houses, and you have to walk hours after hours to meet the people for a performance. I will tell you, let's not romanticize our experience, but it was no easy. There's no telephone. So in this life, I was questioning why the people, the agricultural workers, they have to live like this, without electricity, without roads, without toilet. Why? So this was a basic question. And then what happened, actually, I was finding it very difficult to be accepted by the people. Acceptance was a problem because there was a party society. Party thought that people need nothing except them. So you don't have to do anything. We will do everything on your behalf. So the civil society that used to function well before, now the party would say, no, you don't need to do anything on your own. We will do this. So keep quiet. So either GO or NGO, we used to call the NGOs will do it, or GO and government organizations, and the party will do it for the people. So naturally, the party society, those who were creating the force which was creating a party society, did not like some people from the city coming in the village. They suspected us as Naxalites, Maoists, things like that. So it was initially very difficult for us to be accepted by the people, and people also had questions. Why are they tolerating such situations in the village? They look like city people and well off, but why are they here? So that was their question. But at that time, the village, my visit, decision of going to the village helped me to see our traditional art. You see, in mid-80s, in Calcutta, where I was born and brought up, there was no remnants of traditional art. British capital until 1910, Calcutta was the British capital, and it was a highly colonized city. And we were doubly colonized. We were and historically we were colonized. English colony was in our head, and also Soviet colonization we had to accept, because that was the only parameter of the only country that can represent the human society. So naturally, whatever comes from them used to be considered as the greatest. Nothing better than this can exist. I am not criticizing the Soviet culture or Soviet Russia. I have criticism, but I am saying this only that, well, we must, that Tagore had told very clearly, we must exchange. Instead of being a follower, we all must be critical thinker, So there should be a dialogue, there should be an interaction, interrogation. So that probably I did not personally experience when I was in the party. So traditional art form was unknown to me. But when I saw the traditional art form, it was amazing. It was Brechtian. You see, I still consider myself as a left politician, non-party, but it was a Brechtian in the sense that every character in their theater, in traditional theater, were very complex. They were very complex, and you cannot support any character. No character can be your. You won't expect the win of any character. Even the God character was highly complicated. Krishna was a highly complicated character. You cannot support. You have to criticize. So this actually, this form, this actually made me interested to read Mahabharata. I didn't read before. So I realized that in 19th century Bengali theater used mythological plays to create a kind of nationalism against the British. Because if the God is not above Britishism, why British? That was actually the, and you know, this 1878, the Drama Control Act was passed by the British in 1878. Still that act exists. Not implemented, but exists. So characters are complex. So naturally, you have to, they call bichar, you have to be critic. You cannot follow. You cannot get things. You will be provoked by the questions. So they used to provoke delivering questions. That's how I read traditional art. So instead of giving, today also, as opposed to propaganda, what we do is we throw good questions to the spectators, as Boal said. So I think in a way, those theater like Gajan, where they used to use a lot of text from Mahabharata and Ramayana, and there used to be Torja, where two poets will argue in front of the people. One poet would ask a question, another will answer. Another would ask a question, another person will answer. So that's question answer form. And there were Bonobibi's Pala, where you can see the Hindu Bangladesh. Those days it was united. The Muslim lady and Hindu god. The Bonobibi is from Muslim community, and Dakshindai, the god from Hindu Brahmin. They are worshipped together by Hindu Muslims in some regions in Sundarban. So those sort of things actually attracted me. So I started learning traditional theater. My theater journey started as a learner of Gajan, Jatra. So while learning this, I discovered a theater person in me. So I thought, oh, there is a theater person in me hiding. আমার হিয়ার মাঝে লুকিয়ে ছিলে দেখতে তোমায় পাইনি. Tagore Bengali lines, I can't translate it in English. So it was hiding in my heart. I didn't know. So I discovered it. So discovery took place through an interaction with me and the traditional artists. So then I thought I had a theater person. So I changed my life. My activism became creative activism. So I thought I would do theater. And from the very first day, the line between activism and acting was erased. I did not see that. We still do not see the line between activism and acting, because we went from acting to the activism to the acting, offstage to the onstage, and never considered theater as a support service tool. Like most NGOs, they have a program project, say for example, child marriage, and they will do some theater as a support service. For us, theater was not a support service. It was politics. So we saw theater as politics, not a support service to a political action. Like most political parties also, they use art form as a support service. But I was born in a communist family. I have seen a lot of IPTA those days, those who acted from 1943 to 52. They were like my father's friend. So I had a huge interaction, and many of them are documented as to how they felt that they were seen as a support service activist instead of the main political person. So theater as politics was not even seen in the party. Well, I will not talk about the party anymore, but to explain the background of how I came to the theater, I shared. Maybe that might help you, because you are also attached to institutions And there also you might have to experience the same thing. So I just felt like sharing this. Well, so from traditional art, I came to theater, and it was a propaganda theater in the beginning because I had no interaction with one that time. So it was 1985. We started our play, propaganda play. But I used to live in the village. I used to live in the village. I'm just looking at my notes, but even then, just going. I always take the notes, but I don't follow. Well, so it was a propaganda play. But I used to live in the village. So naturally, I used to have 24/7 interaction with the rural workers of those times. So, and I used to feel the intellectual faculty people have within. It is not that I am glorifying the people. And as a party person, keeping a construction of mind with the construction of mind that we will lead the revolution, we will lead the people. With that construction of mind, initially I thought, well, they are not literate. They must, they require our input. But slowly, I came far from this position, slowly. That's because my regular interaction with the people helped me to realize that what I say today, every individual is essentially intellectual. Wherever I go, I say this. If you don't believe this, don't go to the people. Please. There is no need. You don't need for theater. Because people don't need you. Unless you respect, unless you realize. I will tell you what is called realization. It's not just a theoretical statement. Because for me, it was a realization. What I called intellectual faculty exists within every human being. The very sadly, we see religious fundamentalists, Hindu fundamentalism in our country. They very sadly use Swami Vivekananda, to whom I sometimes consider as my political philosopher, because he had a lot of contradiction. I'm not preaching Swami Vivekananda, but he said this, that education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. So when I see that man, the photograph of that man is behind a person who is injecting the poison of communalism with the people, I feel very sad, you see. But Vivekananda's realization that every individual is intellectual faculty exists, only it needs to be manifest. They don't know that they are capable of thinking, because over the ages, they were told that you know nothing. You don't have to think, you follow us. Right? So this culture of blind following, this actually, made them feel as if they are not capable of thinking. That is a construction of mind. It's a political construct. So when I was interacting with the villagers, I will give you some anecdotes. When I was interacting with the villagers, I started realizing that yes, it is not manifested. Intellectual faculty exists within people, but they are not aware of it. It needs to be manifested. So I say this today to all my theater friends globally, that only thing we need is to help people so that they can manifest the intellectual faculty they already have within. That's what we need. Then our job is over. So this was my realization. I will tell you. Should I give you some anecdote? Yes, two anecdote I will give you. Like, for example, we were very confused about individual and collective relationship. So one day in a tribal village, I found some people who were sitting in a circle, and I said, what is that happening? Someone said that, yes, there is a meeting going on because one villager, one person, young boy, had stolen some aubergine brinjal from someone's garden, so he is now under trial. So that's why that's a circle. So everybody then they discussed, and then they said, yes, he has to pay 50 rupees to the village fund. Village fund means they use this that in the village festival. So everybody said that the guy has to pay 50 rupees. 50 rupees in mid 80s was no joke. It was a lot. So then one person stood up, one person. He said, listen, I think it was a Santal community, yeah, Santal community. He said, listen, I think there is something wrong in your judgment. Then everybody said, where do you see something wrong? What is wrong? Tell us what went wrong. He said, I won't be able to articulate now, but I have a feeling that there is something wrong in your judgment. So then I thought they would say majority must be granted. That is what we have learned. And particularly one person only in the circle is saying this. So there is no chance. Majority must be accepted. But they said, no, we will sit tomorrow. We will sit tomorrow. And tomorrow, they sat in a circle. And that gentleman, he actually started explaining why he should not be charged 50 rupees. He spoke. Believe me, everybody accepted. Everybody accepted. So I told my friend where I used to stay, my friend married to that community. So I had acceptance. I was Jamai's friend. They used to call Jamai Bundhi. So I was a friend of their Jamai. So I had access. So I was telling that gentleman, why did you waste 2 days just to decide a simple issue? Everybody said he should have been charged, he should have paid 50 rupees. And you wasted a day. They said, he actually, I cannot show you, he used his fishing net, He didn't explain me. From his fishing net, he said, listen, it was a conical fishing net, it was connected by a lot of sticks. He took out one stick and said, listen, if I took out these sticks, still I can catch the fish with this net. But slowly, all other sticks will be disconnected from the net. So my net will be spoiled. So that's how he actually made me understood that every individual in a collective is important. No individual should feel unheard. No individual should feel left out. Then it is not a collective. So you can see a Padan Murmu, he never went to the school. He did not know how to write his name. But he had this wisdom, which said that every individual should be respected in a collective. Much later, after 2, 3, 4 years, we started our collective. I told you, explained to you, we live in a collective, we live in the same campus, we have a common kitchen. And we all remember this. We are maintaining this collective. We are together for last 34 years almost. 34, 35 years we are together. Many families together. But we remember this. Probably he taught us the truth. So, this kind of interaction, I would tell you one more interaction when I explained this to Boal. Boal told me the story of his life when they went to a village. Many of you must have heard the story of Virgilio. Have you heard the story of Virgilio that Boal experienced? Is there anyone? No, right? So I can tell you this. So I was my feminist friend in the city of Kolkata. They said, Sonjay, why do you always portray women as weak, asking for help, victim kind of powerless? Why? I said, listen, my method is what I call scripting play instead of playing the script. Because when I took a script for my actors, first group of Jana Sanskriti, I realized nobody could read. They were not literate in the sense of reading, but they were well educated. So I developed a method and Boal made it very mature. He helped me to structure it well. And that is what I call scripting play instead of playing the script. You can see a lot of practitioners in US, Europe, UK, they are doing the same, following this method. Scripting play instead of playing the script. So when they are playing their script, how can I impose my perception, my opinion? It's their play. So I am not writing the play. So you cannot blame me that I am portraying the women like this. But still, I thought, well, probably. So then there was an incident happened in Kolkata where a girl was gang raped, and then we realized that opposition party is trying to make use of it, the ruling party is trying to conceal it. Media thought it was a very good news for their TRP, and his lover also, her lover also left us. So she was in a very critical condition. She was in a very critical condition. Everybody left her. And at this point alone, I heard a news that there was a rape happened in Maharashtra where the victim she got pregnant and decided to deliver her baby. So I just joined that story with this main story, the original story. So in my story, Swaruma, the lady, she was raped, and as a result, she got pregnant and she decided to deliver her baby. It was a baby son in my play, and he brought him. That was the story. So it is a story of empowerment, and I structured the play because from the very first day, because my folk teachers were my first theater teachers, so I actually applied the graceful movement of the folk art, traditional art, into my play. So it never looked like a Nukkad Natak, where some people will black dress will run around from one end to another end and speak. I used to, is this a boxer? Antara,
Yes, sir.
I saw your dog.
No, it's a cat. She jumped on my laptop.
Okay,
So I had to, yeah.
So, yeah. So he must be helping you to overcome the boredom. So this was
Not at all, not at all.
so actually where I was actually, I was saying, Subhas, can anyone
You were
remind
talking
me?
about the play in which the woman delivers
Yeah,
her rapist
I used to take care of the structural beauty of the play, and the Sodoma was structurally very beautiful. But and therefore it was well appreciated. One day I was playing it in a village called Birbhum district, one district in North Bengal. I was performing this, and after the play, Full Money, one girl, and three other women. After the play, they called me. They said, "Come here." So they wanted to talk to me separately. So, and Fulmani was known to me because I used to live in her house. They were Santal, and I also could little bit speak and understand their language. So she called me and said, "Listen, believe me, this happened. I wrote a play on Fulmani later. There is a play of mine called Fulmani. Because she changed the entire perception, which I was realizing that people are intellectual, but they are not aware of it. They don't know. Fulmani said, your play, the woman in your play is very empowered. Is it not? In Santali, she said this. I said, yes. Don't you think so? She was left alone by the society, but even then she had the courage to deliver the child and brought him up. Don't you think she was an empowered woman? Then Fulmani said, yes. But when you come to our house, who feeds you? He said, you. And do you know about our men that start drinking from the morning? We maintain the family. He said, yes. You know, we go to they call Pathar Khadan, the stone mining factory. We go for stone mining. I said, yes. And you know, the contractor calls us whenever he wants. He calls us. And he invites us in his room alone. I said, I know. Then Fulmani told me, from tomorrow, what will I do? Should I go to my mining factory from where I get my bread? Or should I shouldn't go? Tell me, what should I do? Should I go or not? I'm sure none of you have the answer. I also didn't have answer. Because if I say go, means you compromise. They get raped often by the contractor. It's a normal practice. And if I say don't go, who will look after their families? So, my head was spinning, and I realized that our theoretical concept of empowerment does not match with the definition of empowerment Pulmoni contributed. She is ready to be raped in order to maintain her family. What did you say? So then I thought, no more propaganda, no more propaganda theater, no more propaganda theater. Enough is enough, And I was in touch with Boal, and those days, I had no computer and no email. So we used to fax. So I would fax him. I would go to the airport. Near airport, there was a hotel. I would fax him. I would wait for him to reply. Then his fax would come. Then again, my fax would go. This is how we used to speak through fax. And Boal was interested to address my crisis, where I said that what can I do? They are so they are all supposed to be thinker instead of being blind follower. But where is our theater which can change this identity? So Boal decided to call us. So in 91, when I first met him in Paris, it was a love at first sight. We traveled together for 18 years in so many continents, so many countries, so many big, small countries, together with his son, Julian. And he came to my house several times. And in Routledge, my second book from Routledge, London, there is a section of letter that Boal's wife, Cecilia, asked me to include that section in my book, the letters between Boal and I. So some letters are there. And there we'll find this letter, which he wrote from the hospital, and that was his last letter. From the hospital, he took a laptop and wrote to me saying, do not despair, Theatre of the Oppressed needs you. It was written in a capital, and you will never retire. So I cannot retire. When Subhas told me that, I said, this is an incident I have come across just a couple of hours ago. I am not in the frame of mind to say anything. Then he said, no, sir, we have actually invited everyone. So I thought, yes, I remembered the letter, you will never retire. I said, no, I must speak. I must listen to my master. So it was his last mail in his life, and that was addressed to me. And it is printed now, it's a published document. The book is called From Boal to Janasanskriti, Routledge in London. You can actually collect if you are interested. And there also you can find some improvised games also, and this section of letters. So it was actually in 91 we met first. And since then, we were together. So then Boal told me, yes, my theater can address your book. So that's how he taught me Forum Theater. And then he invited us to Paris. There used to be theater festival, Theatre of the Oppressed International Festival, organized by him. He was the main. Now that festival doesn't happen in that form. A lot of small groups, they organize their festivals. But it used to be called, we had 8 international festivals. Boal, under his leadership, we had 8 festivals, 8 versions. Then he invited us, and he was the joker. I will explain you what is joker. Then he invited us in Brazil, and he was the joker of all. He used to play the mediator, role of the mediator between actor and spectator. So that is how we changed our form from propaganda theater to participatory interactive theater, which can successfully democratize politics. People do not have to listen, do not have to watch. They will be given the opportunity to speak. The theater space will be extended to the last spectator, and it will be something like an intellectual space. Theater would offer an intellectual space, but all of us in that space will think intellectually, will think critically. So that is the magic of Theatre of the Oppressed. What happens in Theatre of the Oppressed? There are many arsenals: image theater, forum theater, newspaper theater. last phase of his life, he conducted legislative theatre, a form of a forum theatre. So I would mainly focus on forum theatre and explain you the philosophy of it, the foundational philosophy. So it is basically, you are in forum theatre, in theatre of the oppressed, in image theatre, forum theatre, you are not providing any solution. You are not showing the way to the people. You are just raising a problem. You are portraying an oppression where conflict between oppressor and oppressed is very sharp. One should not have any problem to understand who is oppressor and who is oppressed. Oppressor can be more than one in your play, oppressed can be more than one in your play. Later on, people started keeping the bystander character. I call it passive oppressor, those who do this. So I also include them. And later on, Janasanskriti, our group, we have introduced classics also into forum theatre, like Brecht's Good Person of Sedgwick. We have done it in forum format, forum theatre format. Doll's House, Ibsen's Doll's House, we did it in forum theatre format. Antigone, we did it in forum theatre format. So one of my students in Leeds, he wrote a play called Village Dream. That is all from Eritrea. That is also, we have also played this as forum piece. You can have them in our YouTube channel, Janasanskriti Forum Theatre, Janasanskriti Center for Theatre of the Oppressed. If you type in the YouTube and then go to the videos, you will find all the videos. And I would request you to see the forum of Doll's House, A Doll's House. It was 1 hour, 39 minutes play, and then 1 hour forum is there. You can see there are a lot of new rules we have created in forum. So in forum theatre, basically, you are portraying an oppression where oppressor-oppressed conflict is very sharp and clear and concrete. Then you are performing this play in the second time. If your play is long, let's say 25 minutes, half an hour, then you can have intervening points in your play. You have to decide which particular play, which particular part of your play you will perform again. After performing the whole play, you have to perform the play again, some part where you would invite the spectators and then reenact that, perform that again, that particular section, and then you stop the person in the middle of the actor and spectators. We call them joker. Joker is not the English meaning of joker. In Portuguese, joker means moderator. So we call theatre of the oppressed community, they always call it joker. So this joker would stop and say this and invite the spectator, if you were in the position of this oppressed, what would you have done? How did you transform the situation? So the spectator will come and replace the protagonist, the oppressed character, and try to argue against the oppressor character and try to change the situation, try to transform the situation, try to liberate the oppressed from that situation. So this is how Boal called spectator, because the spectator, when they come on stage and replace the oppressed character, protagonist character, they become spectator. So you can have spectators one by one, they might come, depending on whether you are really interested to know their opinion or not. If you have a solution in mind, and if you, as a joker, if you want people to say this, what you have in your mind, so it appears as if it is participatory, but actually it is not participatory. It is a kind of imposition. But if you really truly want people to participate intellectually, critically, then the interaction between spectator and oppressor character can raise a lot of questions. And when you can have these questions, if you allow the spectators to go easily to solve the problem, then the argument will not go forward. So the oppressor character has to be trained in a way. The oppressor character should be specially trained through various techniques we have. So this oppressor character will constantly problematize. He is never wrong. He is always right. He has enough power to problematize. So naturally, the spectator will have the challenge. he or she has to argue. So there will be an argument on stage. And if that argument happens, that argument provides you questions. For example, spectator in the position of a woman come who was being, for example, not cook. The wife was not, she couldn't cook on time. So therefore husband is beating. Suppose this is the scene. So we would ask spectator to replace the women character, protagonist. He would come, and then suppose the oppressor character would say the women are supposed to cook only. It's the society has defined this work for the women. So then the Joker should note this, and Joker should tell the audience, do you think that the women have some defined work, women and men cannot go to the kitchen, things like that, It's just an example you have to see. But principle is that you have to portray a concrete operation. It can be 10 minutes play. It can be, usually Jana Sanskriti's play is 25 minutes, 30 minutes if you don't perform classics, but you will find 5 minutes, 10 minutes play also. So there, your play should contain the intervening point. Intervening point means where you would invite the spectator to come on stage, right? So in that intervening point, suppose a father is discriminating a boy child and a girl child. Mother is calling from the kitchen to her girl child that come and help me in the kitchen when boy is studying. So suppose this is the scene, and you want spectators to intervene in this scene. Why mother is calling the girl child? Why father is so inattentive about the girl? So father is the oppressor character. Mother is unknowingly internalized patriarchy. She thinks that girl child should go and help in the kitchen. Her upbringing from the childhood she has internalized patriarchy inside. So this construction of mind, internalized patriarchy, so that one has to realize through your play. So now, suppose this is the play, you want spectators to intervene. So they will intervene the girl character, girl child, and they will replace the girl child and show how do they like to transform the situation. The father and mother will give their counter argument. This argument and counter argument will lead some questions, and you have to ask those questions to the audience. Audience will be provoked. They will take this question and come, and that is how you can go deeper and deeper and deeper. So idea is not, that is what Jana Sanskriti tells, and if you read me and read my articles, essay and books, you can see I have clearly told it that forum theatre is not a problem-solving session. Don't see Theatre of the Oppressed as a problem-solving session. A problem like patriarchy cannot be solved in a couple of forum theatre sessions. So what we need to do, we need to explore the issue very critically to understand its, if it is a problem of economic problems, you have to see that people can see its national, international, global roots, its structural roots. If it is an operation on women, then it is not that we want to solve the problem. We want people to understand how patriarchy is acting as an ideology in their perception, how patriarchy is internalized within us because of our upbringing. The moment you understand this mental construct, you understand that I am oppressing myself. You understand I am oppressing someone. I have an oppressor, which needs to be realized. So idea is what I call scripting intellectual power. So if you script intellectual power, allowing an argument on stage and by provoking people through questions, then this is how we can script intellectual power. And this intellectual power breaks the passivity and makes the spectator into what I call spectactivists. So you will find this spectactivist word in my one of my article in From Boal to Jana Sanskriti. So people come as spectator, and the interaction between actor and spectator happens, argument happens, and through this argument, they receive questions, they address those questions, they go deeper and deeper, they understand what is the root cause of the problem. This is what I call the journey from effect to from the result to the result. It's an intellectual journey. We don't want to provide peace in mind. We want to disturb them intellectually. They should go back home with the idea, what is this? Why can't I do this? What was the problem? So they will be thinking. So this, bringing them into this thinking mode, helps them to script intellectual power. And when you are intellectually powerful, you cannot be passive in reality. So upstage, you become activists. The actors become activists. Theater goes from on stage to upstage. So this is what we are obliged to do. Instead of allowing spectator to quickly solve the problem and clap, makes no sense if you are practicing forum theater. So this critical thinking, what it does, my son says nicely that it changes the identity. There are a lot of studies done by scholars on Jana Sanskriti's theater, the impact of Jana Sanskriti on the women. You will find in our website. So that study also says that it changes the identity. I am not mere wife of somebody. I am an actor. I am an activist. I am a social worker. I am a singer. I am a dancer. So when I bring them in the play, when our women in our group, a lot of women are practicing. So you can see the people, they are changing their identities from blind followers to critical thinker. Changing identity is Theater of the Oppressed, which says that that's how, according to Vivekananda, you can manifest the intellectual power people have within. They realize they are capable of thinking. So I was just telling you, don't appear as a power center to the people. Very often what happens, for example, the party is the power center of the people. People see them as a power. Even NGOs are mostly seen as a power center. People know that if we go there, this problem will be solved. They will take care of that. I'm not saying bad. This is in trade unions. In trade unions, the workers, they follow a union because they know that the union will be responsible for my salary hike, my wages will be increased, my bonus will be increased. So these trade union leaders, they will negotiate with the owner and my wage will increase. So apparently you could see in appearance, 2,000 people are fighting for their higher wages. But every individual is thinking, my wage will be increased. You see. So in appearance, it looks like a collective, but in actuality, it is an individual self-interest. Collective, you are promoting the self-interest. So I call it collective self-interest. So it happens everywhere. In trade union sector, and trade union never addressed. Have you seen, when I speak, we are doing a legislative theater now on Interstate Migration Act. We are demanding a fresh Interstate Migration Act. So you see, the trade union never addressed the problem of patriarchy. When that the women might have some special demand, they never consider. And in village, we see sometimes when we do the forum theater, even the main folk, many of them think, oh, it's me on the stage. I beat my wife like this. Often, when they say a scene of a violence on the women by a man, he thinks, oh, it's me on the stage. I do this to my wife. So the moment he is realizing it, he is looking at his actor as a spectator, how he acts in his real life. He is the spectator of his own actor. You see, Boal used to call we are theater. When you are the combination of spectator and actor in theater, what makes theater? Spectator and actor makes theater. So when you are the combination of actor and spectator, then you are theater. You are theater means it is an introspective act. You are looking at yourselves. Very often we do this after singing a song. We say, no, today I couldn't sing well. Who said? You yourself thinking, you are listening to yourself. Today I couldn't sing well. Whereas people are saying, oh, wow, well done, man. You sang very well. But you think, no. today I could sing. Because you are also the listener of you. So this introspection happens. But introspection also happens to see, yes, sometimes by introspecting, I find an oppressor in me. And then I find the inspiration to humanize that oppressor. So theater can humanize the human beings. Theater can humanize the human society. Theater is very powerful. It is a collective act. It can sculpt intellectual power. It is an introspective act. It can humanize the human beings. It can humanize the human societies. It can respect the people. It can democratize the politics. So theater has multiple, purpose. It has multiple dimensions. I have an exercise which I learned from Boal. That's an exercise what is called define what is theater. I do it through image theater. Boal taught me. It was the last exercise I learned from him. So this is, so you can see theater has multiple dimensions. It's not just a performance on stage. It's performance off stage. And in Janasanskriti, it is known as Janasanskriti model globally, that many senior practitioners of my age, not the current generation, not everybody knows, but in my generation, Boal's first, second batch of students, so they know, it is known to them as Janasanskriti model. We take the same play to the same audience 3 times with an interval of 1 or 1.5 months. Because in the first time when people have strong desire, a lot of hands, they want to say something, we stop. So they had many things to say, but they couldn't say. So they will go back home with disturbance, you see. And they will reflect for a month or so, and then they will see the same play twice. Then again, 1 month or 1 month, little more than 1 month, usually 1 month, they will see again the play at least 3 times. So then the nature of intervention changes, many people intervene, and we record those interventions. There is a writer in each satellite team. We have 30 satellite teams, probably the largest theater group in the country, except IPTA. We have 30 satellite teams, and each team has a writer. A writer has a very thick exercise book. It's not thick. So the writers write in the first scene, Jaganmoy Mitra told this. He would write the intervention. And after the interventions are written, all the actors will sign below. So when the researcher comes from outside India or India, they get it translated, but they find the interventions of the performance we had 20 years before. Our record room is full of those writings. So what happens sometimes, if one group decides to perform in 10 villages, there are suppose 5 groups decides to perform the same play in 10 villages. So 5 into 10, 50 villages they are performing. And after 3 performances, there will be 150 performances of the same play. And then what we do, we try to identify quickly the commonly said intervention, most common intervention that every village's people have said. Then we take this, tell these interventions to our spectators committee we have in our villages. We call them Human Rights Protection Committee, and we have Women's Forum. So they get to know what all other villages have said on this play, and based on which they plan their activism. So that also happens. We help our audience, our spectators, we help them to know what all other people have said on this question. So this is the model. So theater does not end on stage, it goes off the stage. So this is how we are practicing. This is the Janasanskriti model. And one more thing I must tell you, that when I say arguments, on stage, argument means nobody is trying to win against other in this argument. Usually what happens when we speak, and if you find few intellectuals are talking, they will always try to show their intellectual capacity, and they will argue in order to establish themselves. Each one wants to establish them. But here, so naturally dogma comes in such debate. So it appears as if they are in a dialogue, but most often we do multiple monologues. We experience multiple monologues. The moment Bansri says something, I would calculate what should I say soon after she finishes. So I am not actually listening to her because I have to say something. Either I compliment or contradict, but I have to establish some, intellectually I have to. That is, or I will oppose. So this appears as a dialogue, but it's often we experience multiple monologues. But in forum theater, in theater space, we don't experience multiple monologues. True dialogue does not want to win. Nobody is winner here. Nobody is loser here. The path wins. The path we create in the process, that wins. The truth wins. So naturally, since there is no winning or losing, so it has a converging nature. This argument has a converging nature. It converges. And if you want to, my last point, I hope have I spoken 1 hour? Yes, more than 1 hour. Eh? Are you happy or you are experiencing boredom? Okay. So then, okay. So then it is basically, you see, how can you do this? This convergence, it can be created. How you can involve the people into the debate, in the discussion, in the argument, only if you feel some oneness with your audience. Theater is an act of oneness. You have to experience a non-dual nature of relationship with your spectator. No stardom is allowed here. No stardom. No teachers. You are not teachers. You are actually student. So this non-duality I call Advaita. There is no two. It's it's Indian philosophy. I am very much attracted by the Advaita Vedanta, because it says you that thou art. Tathyamusi, you are the God. So God is not, doesn't exist in the sky. All the gods here are speaking to each other online. All God and goddesses. We are speaking online. So to me, you are extremely good thinker who would support me in future. That's the reason why I'm talking to you, spending time. So it's basically an oneness, So, and what does oneness want? You can have the oneness, you can feel the oneness with your spectator only if you love the people. Philosophy, politics, all are rubbish. I'm telling you. The techniques we learn in the theater are rubbish unless you have love. The module cannot make a joker. You need love. So if you love the people, you feel that the nature of relationship changes. Theater is an art of creating relationship. I have said time and again. Meanwhile, I am giving some commercial sentences. I have a book called Janasanskriti, Forum Theatre and Democracy in India, again by Routledge, London. I have explained it very clearly. Theater is an art of creating connection. Theater is an art of creating relationship, you see. So you have to establish a relationship. It's like, Mullah Nasiruddin, once he thought of seeing his Mursid in Sufi sect, Sufi Islam. The spiritual teacher is called Mursid. So Nasiruddin thought of, seeing his Mursid one day. So those days, there was no transport. He worked for 3 days continuously. And finally, after 3 days of walking, he reached at the door of his Mursid's house, the spiritual teacher. So he knocked at the door, and Mursid from inside said, "Is there anybody there calling me outside?" Nasiruddin said, "I am Nasiruddin, waiting here. You know me, Mursid." Silent. Door didn't open. So Nasiruddin was a little bit surprised. Again, he knocked at the door. Again, from inside, Mursid said, Is there anybody there outside calling me? Nasiruddin say, my name is Nasiruddin. I am Nasiruddin. You know me. I have been working for the last 3 days to meet you, Mursid. I am Nasiruddin here. Again, silence. Nasiruddin experienced silence. Then he was really sad. He thought that the guy was there inside, responding to my call, but not opening the door. If he was not there, it would have been a different story. So he was very sad. And he was moving to and fro. And Nasiruddin made a very beautiful statement here. I will not go to the deeper of that statement. He said that this experience of agony somehow cleaned me. It was a cleansing, I had a cleansing effect. So again, he went to the door, Muslim, and Mursid's door. This time knocked at the door. Muslim, as usual, said, is there anybody there outside calling me? Nasiruddin said, yes, you. The moment he said you, the door opened. So Nasiruddin clearly established that in a relationship, there should be no one I and you. Kabir said, Prem ki gali uti sankari. Lane of love is narrow. Two persons cannot go at the same time. Either you or me. It's very narrow lane. Only one can go. That means Kabir is saying two have to be one. When you are in love, you are actually one. Very lovely side of Indian philosophy, which I see our politics was missing. I strongly feel today that unless you love the people, your politics makes no sense to the people. So introspection is necessary because we need to change ourselves. And then we can change the outside world. So changing from inside, experiencing a war inside between oppressor and oppressed in me is what I call internal revolution. And that internal evolution leads you to external evolution. Okay. So here I will end. It's 1 hour, 25 minutes probably. If you have any questions, but before I end my speech, I would like to tell you, if you are interested, I will have a workshop. Now we will call some workshops in India. So in November first week, we will call for a workshop. And if you are in connection with Subhas, then Subhas can disseminate the information to you, or else you can write to me in our website. You will get our email, my number also. So you are welcome to join to our workshop. It's going to be a residential 5 days workshop. So we have our place to offer you. So you can stay, and during the whole day we will have the workshops. This is the theoretical base I have explained. If you are interested, you are very welcome to join the workshop. It's November first week.
You had shared a couple of links. Do you want us to see a glimpse of them or not?
Is it possible to show?
Yeah, we can try. Yeah. So I'm
So-
going to try one, the first one. Tell me when you want to stop it.
You can show the spectators rally. They can see Boal first.
What? So that is the other one or this one? Other one.
Which one? This one is the
You can
forum. This one is the
So-
forum in the school. They can see it.
We can see it for a couple of minutes or what?
Yeah.
So just let me know if we can hear it.
Mother is calling the girl child.
তুমি মেয়ে, তোমার বেশি পড়াশোনা শেখার দরকার নেই। তো তুমি নামসই শিখতে পারলেই যথেষ্ট। কারণ শ্বশুর বাড়ি না করে কাজ করবে, তাই আগে শেখো, লেখাপড়ার দরকার নেই।
ছেলেরা যা পারে মেয়েরা তা পারে না কেন?
আমাদের সমাজে মেয়েদের কাজ আলাদা, ছেলেদের কাজ আলাদা। মেয়েদের কাজ বাচ্চা জন্ম দেওয়া, আপনার সেবা। তুমি সে স্বামীর সেবা করো না, এখানে হিসাবে দেখা সেটা
কি করবো?
তুমি পাল্টে নেবে, তুমি পাল্টে পাল্টে দিলে সমাজকে।
হ্যাঁ, পারবো।
আরে লোক কি বলবে বলবে, দেখেছো কবি রকম মেয়ে বাড়ি বাড়ি গিয়ে এরকম সব এই সব করছে, দেখি পড়া করছে, মানুষের মত থাকবে।
আমরা যদি সব-
Since there is no subtitle,
আমরা যদি সবাই
Yes,
মিলে
what
সব
they are
মেয়েরা
asking.
যদি পড়াশোনা
go
করে,
ahead.
সমাজ গড়ে তুলতে পারি, তাহলে কেন পারবো না? সমাজ কেন মেনে যাবে?
বাস সেটা তুমি ঠিক বলেছো, পড়াশোনা শেখাই নতুন সমাজ তৈরি। বাস্তবটা তো বুঝতে হবে। দেখো তোমার কাছে পড়াশোনা শেখালাম, তোমার বিয়ে দিতে গেলে তাহলে সেরকম বেশি শিক্ষিত ছেলে দরকার। যে ছেলে বেশি শিক্ষিত সে বেশি টাকা কোন চাইবে, আমি কোত্থেকে দেবো?
আমি যদি তার মধ্যে এক মিনিট হই, আচ্ছা, নাম কি? শুভশ্রী।
So here we are encouraging students to
যে
come.
বেশি লেখাপড়া শিখলে বেশি কম দিতে হবে।
You said something?
Can you, yeah, can you go little bit, since this is a forum happening, can you go little first forward? Can you, I mean, can you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
little,
Yes.
তখন আমি কোথায় পাবো? মেয়েকে যদি করতে পারি, তারপর যে শেখানো হয়, কেউ তো একদিন তার সম্পর্কে কেউ শেখায় চলবে।
মা কাজ করতে পারো।
মা যে কাজ করে, আমার অনেক বয়স আছে, এখন আমার পড়াশোনার বয়স।
সে তো পড়ালেখা শেখার বয়স, কিন্তু মা একটা কাজ করছে, তোমার কি মাকে সাহায্য করার তোমার দায়িত্ব না?
ছিল তখন আমি মাকে সাহায্য করেছি, এখন আমার সামনে পরীক্ষা, আমি মাকে সাহায্য করতে পারবো।
তুমি পড়াশোনা শিখবে, পড়াশোনা শিখে তুমি কি করবে?
পড়াশোনা দিকে ভাই যেমন সম্পত্তি অধিকার করবে, ভাই যেমন জ্ঞান বৃদ্ধি লাভ করবে, তেমনি আমিও জ্ঞান বৃদ্ধি লাভ করবো।
আরে বাবা, ছেলেরা যদি আবার পড়াশোনা শিখে তাহলে ছেলেটা আমাকে কেটে খাও, কিন্তু তুমি তো সেই শ্বশুর বাড়ি
কাজ করে দেখা, যদি না পুলিশের কাছে যাই আমাদের, তাহলে আমারও নাম লইছে। হ্যাঁ, তোর কাছে এখন পড়াশোনা করে অনেক কথা আমি
আরে বিয়ের আসরে আলিখ্যতা করতে পারে, এই বিয়ের আসরে নগদ 20,000 টাকা দেওয়ার কথা ছিল, তা তো দিলেনই না। বিয়ের বলার হ্যাঁ ছেলে হাতে রানীরা পর্যন্ত দেননি, দিতে পারবে না তো কোথায় যাবে না মশাই? আপনাদের মতো লোকেদের মেয়ে হয় কেন? এই জন্মানোর পর গলা কলসি মেরে গঙ্গায় ফেলে আসতে পারেননি।
এই শিক্ষা প্রসার ঘটান।
আচ্ছা
হ্যাঁ, সার্বিক শিক্ষার স্বাধীনতা দেওয়া দরকার। আপনি লোকটা কি বলছো? কি বলছো? না, ওকে তো বলতে ওই যে আপনার মেয়েকে আপনি শিক্ষা দেন।
আমার মেয়েকে আমি শিক্ষা দিব না, প্রতিবেশী হয়ে তুমি বলার
মেয়ের স্বাধীনতা আছে।
মেয়ের স্বাধীনতা আছে, তো তুমি তোমার মেয়েকে পড়াও, আমি আমার মেয়েকে নয় পড়াতে পারি।
আর তোমার মেয়েটা ওই মেয়েদের মধ্যে একটা।
আমার মেয়েকে
তোমার মেয়েটাও যা কাজ, তোমার মেয়েটাও
দারুণ দামি কথা যে তোমার মেয়েটাও যেমন মেয়ে, আর তোমার মেয়েটাও তোমার মেয়েটাও মেয়েদের মধ্যে একজন।
তাহলে আমার মেয়ে টাকা খরচা তুমি দিবে, পড়াশোনা খরচা?
কেন দিতে হবে? তোমাকে দিতে কি হবে?
তুমি আমার মেয়ে,
তোমার ছেলেটাও সমান হচ্ছে।
আমার
দারুণ দামি কথা।
আমার মেয়েকে পড়াই, তারপর তুমি যদি পড়াই তাহলে আমার বড় হয়ে খেটে খাওয়াবে, আমার মেয়েটা খেটে খাবে, বুঝতে পারছো?
তোমার মেয়েটা আর 5 জনের মেয়েকে দেখাবে।
Acha, you can stop, Subhas. I have
Okay.
understood what I meant spectacles. I hope you have understood what you call spectactors. But this was a very old, it is district Purulia. We were very new there in Purulia district. So they were just learning how to play. So that's why you can say our last joker, Jahir was jokering with the Punjabi. He was oh, good. You have said this is not the responsibility of the joker. He is not going to give good or bad. Oh, Darun, well done. It's not the role of the joker. Joker should ask the question. That old gentleman and the oppressor character, where the argument was going well, but he couldn't pick up the right question. So he was not an experienced joker. He was absolutely a new person. But you can understand now, those who haven't seen Forum Theatre, you know now what is joker, the mediating between actor and spectator, and what is spectators. When the spectator comes on stage, they become spectators. Also, when the people who watch, they are also spectators because they are somehow supporting or, arguing. So they are all in the space. So that is the Forum Theatre. If you want to see Boal in action, then I would ask Subhas a little bit.
Thank you very much. Over to questions. Anyone from any window can start. I'm sure some of you must have got some questions. or maybe a comment. If not, yes, Imran, please.
Namaskar, Sanjay sir. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. First of all,
Okay, Imran, where are you from?
I am from New Delhi, sir. My family is based from Bengal. I'm from Murshidabad through my roots.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Acha.
yes, and currently I am working with a school with primary students. That is something I'm building my forte in. Recently, only one of my colleagues forwarded me. I have read about Augusta Ball, not much, and the Forum Theatre, but one of my colleague forwarded me this a document,
Mhm.
which was a brief document about the work of Augusta Ball. It was translated by someone. I'm forgetting the name right now. While exploring that, I came to know this is the first time I came to know that Augusta Ball was not only about theater of oppress, but there were two more things that this book is talking about, which is image theater and invisible theater. I quite liked invisible theater and how amazing it is. Forum theater was something which I came across last year when some of my students coincidentally came across, started doing the same thing which this is all about. And with your session today, I understood that yes, it was still there before the practitioner started, but it is someone who worked briefly on it. Uh, I am not able to understand very small thing, which is image theater. Can you just in a brief 1 minute something,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you are able to explain it to me?
See, the image theater is, if you see our theater, you can see the application of image theater very much. You can use images in your play also. So, image theater is basically non-verbal and it's the physical theater. I mean, it's a very unique form of physical theater. It's not like our Kalaripaitu or show dance. It's just you have to express through your body, as the body contains the memory, imagination. So you have to experience, you have to speak through your body. So it's an image of an operation. You can, with 5-6 character, you can create an image of an operation. So, and that in image, if the protagonist, you can replace the protagonist, but the spectator has to create an alternative image. So when you are in forum theater, when you are speaking through, there is a verbal arguments. In image theater, it's a non-verbal forum theater, you see. So you can create, you can create an ideal image, you can create a real image, real concrete image, and you can ask the audience to transform it into an ideal image. So the image, if you want your protagonist to act in a way, so you can shape it. With protagonist, you can mold him. See, and then oppressor character will accordingly act. So this is how the same forum theater is happening through the intervention of the spectators, but non-verbally, and slowly they go to the ideal image. When people are in consensus, this is the ideal image, then what do we do usually? We start from real image and step by step, according to the suggestion given by the audience, we come to the ideal image. This was the classical form of image theater, but in forum theater, if you want to learn forum theater, you have to essentially learn image theater, because forum theater workshop, it starts with image theater. You have to first speak through images. Then we allow them to dynamize the images. Then we allow them to add text. So this is all about image theater. Image theater is non-verbal forum theater. And it happened because when Boal went to Lima, Peru, so there was a education program going on, Paulo Freire pedagogy of the oppressed. Some people were doing it, but there were many people from Latin America. They only speak Spanish, but still they have dialects, different dialects. So it was very difficult for them to, exchange their thoughts and ideas. So that's how Boal actually thought of doing image theater. So speak through your body. So that's how image theater evolved. So every time you can see his theater actually came from the people. Similarly, forum theater, when earlier forum theater was like audience will advise and actors will act. So one day there was a scene when a person, gentleman goes to his mistress and spend money, comes back to his wife. Wife is a very laborious person, runs the family, asks some money, pretends as if he loves her very much, and then with that money goes to his mistress. So this is the scene. So people were suggesting that he should be taught a lesson, he should be taught a lesson. And what lesson they were suggesting, and audience were acting out. One woman, he said he should be taught the lesson. And what lesson he was unable to explain. He came on the stage, and on stage there was a broom. He started beating his husband character with the broom. So that's how, Forum Theatre was born. So idea of spectacular. And invisible theater was practiced when there was a dictatorship in Argentina. The Forum Theatre also evolved during the dictatorship in Brazil, and that's why Boal was tortured and sent outside the country, and he had an exile. He was in exile in France. There we met, and he formed his first Theatre of the Oppressed group in Paris. It was called Paris Center. That was the first group of Theatre of the Oppressed. So this invisible theater was to, camouflage the dictators. So they would go to a restaurant, ask for some food, and then before paying, they would ask how much this plate cost, how much you are paid by your owner. And this is how they will start talking, and there will be a chaos, but all the people eating in the restaurant, they will be connected. So ultimately they will establish their point that an exploitation is happening in the restaurant, profit is more, but they are maximizing profit, but they're neglecting the workers. So that's how they used to do it. Invisible theater was basically to camouflage the dictator. But now some people do this in invisible theater. Since here we don't still face that kind of strong dictatorship. Of course, it's becoming kind of semi-fascist in West Bengal. Also, we have a dictator, we say. And so that is happening. But so we don't actually practice invisible theater, but some people do practice it. In invisible theater also, you can you can also include the spectator. It's very inclusive. Last time in French president election.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm sorry, I have to interrupt because maybe some of them are ready to ask their question and we are very short of time, because I am also remembering like some stories of invisible theater by my theater group in Delhi. But then we have to hold our stories back and ask direct questions so that we can take a few questions. So over to other, sorry, sir. So let's take a few more questions. Anyone, please.
We are doing legislative theater, forum theater, image theater, mainly.
So we have Saran asking something, and then Antara. Yes.
Sharan, please.
Sir, I'm traveling. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ab tak to.
Awesome. Okay. So for 2 years, sir, only 2 years I've been doing theater full time. And in that 2 years, I've realized that while doing theater as a theater artist, I've myself become oppressed by society in many ways, such as my lifestyle has become limited, my financial stability has gone away, and that puts me in a very disturbing loop of my needs and wants getting more and more exorbitant. As in, I want more success as a theater person, I want more audience, I want more ticket sales, so that I can eventually be in a position of power to get my message across to more rooms and more people. So I'm stuck in this loop, and I want to do theater of the oppressed. I want to bring those stories to life so that I can enable people to manifest their intellectual side, as you very well said. But to do that, I have to become selfless in a lot of ways. I have to kill a lot of my desires for, let's say, example, financial stability, because to be very honest, that might not exist in this line of work. So my question to you is, how do we kill those desires and become as selfless as one need to be in order to do theater of the oppressed?
Actually, a lot of theater of the oppressed group has a lot of money. They get trained by me and they write very good proposal and bring a lot of money. And we always suffer from financial crisis. We live together, always suffer from financial crisis. You see, we are also very marginalized. If you come here, for our workshop, you will see we lead a very simple life, very simple life. And it is true, in many ways we are oppressed. Recently, we were protesting against a rape victim in Arjikar Medical College Hospital. She was murdered and raped. And that was a major issue in West Bengal, and we were protesting through our place, and we conducted a cycle rally from village to Kolkata. Many of us were given 5-6 sections, so you can't protest. You will be busy gathering money to fight the cases. You need lawyers. Some lawyers are supporting for free. But if you have to run around to police station and court, sometimes it is, you see, we are all oppressed in our own way. So, but depends how you perceive your life. If you want to be a rich man, then you should not come. But as I told you, there are a lot of rich people in this theater of the oppressed. So like our Communist Party began with, most leaders were from CPGP trained, Communist Party of Great Britain trained. They went to study barristery, history, things like that. They came back and became the, so elitism inside party, elitism inside Forum Theatre, theater of the oppressed is happening. So we can't stop it, but we have to practice like we are doing. Janasanskriti has been doing for last, from 91, if you calculate, it's already 34 years, but we have been struggling. We don't have much fund. People come here to get their PhDs, MPhils, MA dissertation from across the world. They pay us, and I conduct workshops in US, UK, Europe, and I am expensive there according to their own standard. So I get that money, I give it to my group. So that's how actually we run. So you have to change your perspective of life. I am not publicizing myself. It is wrong. Sorry. Forgive me. I shouldn't have said this, that I earn and give it to my group. But everybody does this. Everybody does this. But you see, I see me. You cannot imagine black milk. When you imagine milk, whiteness comes, isn't it? So they're inseparable. So to me, politics and spirituality, they're inseparable. What is spirituality? Not Hindu, Muslim. Spirituality is what I explained to you as love, oneness. So if you feel connected to the people, then you won't try to be rich, very rich. So, but don't mind being rich. If you find the opportunity, be rich, please. Get a good job and get a car, get a good flat. I don't mind. That does not spoil the character of the people. So long you know that you are responsible for the people. So long you love the people, everything is good. And this is what I call spirituality, feeling of oneness with the people. And this theater, our theater has this politics. I call it politics of spirituality. I'm not going to explain in details, but I am writing on it. Soon they will be published and you will get to know our understanding of politics and spirituality. It's like milk and whiteness.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
If they are separate, they could be
Thank you,
dangerous.
sir. Thank you, sir, for this beautiful
When they are
question.
separate. But when they are one, that's the ideal thing.
Yeah, Antara.
Hello, sir. My name is Antara. I am from
Hmm.
Goa, and I'm a theater practitioner.
From Goa?
Yes,
From
I'm from
Panjim?
Goa.
Panjim?
From
Panjim?
Panjim. Yes, sir.
I know. Do you know by any chance Isabella, the mustard seed?
Vaz, Isabella Vaz. Yes. I know her. I know her.
I
Yes.
worked with them.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
once.
Um, so, sir, my question is very simple. I just want to know the structure of the workshop that you conduct. You said there's a workshop in November of 5 days. I just want to know what happens in sequence. What are the things that you cover in it? You just said you start with image theater and then you end it with forum. So I want to know what kind of things are covered in that, in the process.
Actually, I don't have. It depends. When I am on the floor, I see the participants. I watch them, and accordingly, I propose games and exercise. It's I don't plan in advance and go. First game I plan. That's a common game. People know. I play this game called circular movement. Everybody knows that this will be the first game. So, but idea is to propose games as social metaphors. So how can you improvise a theater game that basically takes care of your expression or your sensory organs or your acting skills, all those games, how can you improvise them as social metaphor? That means while playing the games, the participants would observe their reality outside. Sometimes they ignore a lot of things in their reality, what they see. So they see the tiny details of their reality through games. And then they find the stories by observing their reality. Then they develop that story and then they go through some rehearsal techniques, to make it better and better and better edited. This is what I call scripting play instead of playing the script. So there I use a lot of introspective theater techniques, which Wall created, called Rainbow of Desire, Cop in the Head. This is one thing. And the another workshop that I conduct, specially to take care of mental health, I have been working with some psychiatric doctor in Chennai. It's a schizophrenia hospital. They treat schizophrenic patient. So the doctors, nurses, patients, indoor patients, they work with me and they are creating plays, forum plays. So that's the introspective theater. I don't call theater therapy. It's introspective theater that I use Rainbow of Desire and Cop in the Head techniques invented by Goa. So there are two varieties. One is forum theater workshop, where I propose games and help the participant to structure a play very quickly. And the second is to take care of our mental health to our internal problem, crisis, which is internal. That is the introspective theater workshop. In November, I am going to have forum theater workshop. And probably sometime later, I can have the same participants can attend the introspective theater workshop. But sometimes I have been in other states also. But since the workshop is going to be residential, so I cannot have it in any other place. So you all have to come to Kolkata.
Thank you, sir.
Is anyone out there with any question before anyone asks a question? Let me ask a little question myself. So you have been working for
Deepika is
long.
asking a question.
Who is asking a question?
I found a question by Deepika, but you can go ahead.
Deepika. Is there a question by
There's a question on
Deepika?
the screen, actually.
Deepika, do you want to ask? You can go first. Hello. Yes.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
My name is Deepika Mathur, and thank you so much for this workshop. I'm learning theater in Bhopal from Manoj Nair sir.
In Bhopal, acha.
Shadowbox yes, Shadowbox Theater.
Good.
Sir, you in the workshop, you said about how patriarchy affects society. I want to know more about.
Yeah, it's basically our upbringing helps us to absorb patriarchal values. You see, we don't sometimes understand that the patriarchal value is controlling our views towards opposite sex. And sometimes our upbringing makes it very internalized. A husband can beat me, not regularly, for example. A woman sometimes calls, yes, I must take the permission of my in-laws before going to my father's house. So these kind of things are actually internalized. They don't see those values. They are being oppressed by those values, but they don't understand that these values is oppressing them. So this is internalized construction. So when you discuss concrete issues that represents patriarchy, it could be discrimination, it could be a violence. So when you are performing a concrete scene representing patriarchy, then our aim will be, I said, our aim should not be to solve the problem, but to understand how patriarchal values are there in us. So understanding this, discovering this construction of mind is the beginning to fight the patriarchy. That helps you to change your identity. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, well, with this, we have come to an end. My question is, first of all, this session added a lot to my understanding of theater of the oppressed and the way Jan Sanskriti is working, operating. That was wonderful, sir. I was just thinking, but it will be maybe a long question. Like you have gone a long way and you are actively doing many things still, and like with decades of experience you must have got many stories of transformation, definitely. So, would you like to share one that is coming to your mind first? Like after this experience, someone went through some transformation of thoughts or internal thinking, and there must be hundreds of things, stories, but
Yeah.
uh, just
Women
one
were
coming to your
involved in political struggles, not only the patriarchy related struggle, but they struggled for to stop alcoholism. They struggled for having electricity in the hospital. They struggled against corruption in local government. They struggled against displacement. So that those struggles made them so mature that you can see so many spectators came from the village in the city by a theater group is not a joke. That indicates your presence in the community. And there are a lot of studies done by various researchers in India and abroad. So you can find some of them in our website. You can that will make things very clear. But you can see a lot of our, particularly during the panchayat elections, sometimes we host the key leaders in the community in our center because they are trapped by the political parties. They want to they want our people to stand as a candidate because they have a base. People respect them. And we don't want to participate in the election. Lot of our village women, at least I can name you 7, 8 or 9 women, they were not literate. Later they have learned something. Some of them passed 10th, 12th standard. But they have traveled to 6, 7 countries abroad. As performers, as teachers, they traveled. You can see the Joker, the first women in the Forum Theatre. The woman, she traveled in 7, 8 countries: Poland, France, Germany, Croatia, Spain, like this, Brazil. So you can see why I'm saying this is not, it can be the indicator in Jana Sanskriti, because they traveled, that means it shows that they don't, their identity has changed. They don't represent themselves as a village wife, a wife of someone in the village, an agricultural worker's family. They identify themselves as a theater makers, activists. Identity is changed. Yeah, they have created these identities. It's not the identity society has given them. They have created on their own. So there are many.
Yes, great. I think we must stop here. We have taken long. I mean, without such stories, one cannot go for decades and decades. Such stories must have given you a lot of strength. That is what I was thinking about. So thank you very much, sir, for your time and the kind of situation you were in today, but still you made it, and we did not miss to have
Was
this
into
session
the
interaction.
discussion, and now I am coming out, and now it is becoming a problem.
Yeah.
I was in the
Yeah.
discussion. I was okay.
Well, then, thank you everyone for staying
Thank you, everyone.
till this moment.